Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this afternoon, so let's begin. First up, 19-year-old accused of authoring Facebook post encouraging riot in Manchester. Facebook post has been taken down, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
Whoa, this is big. The Mega Millions jackpot is so big you can see it from space. So big it's bursting into space. It's so big that jackpot hit the jackpot. Buy your tickets today online at nhlottery.com or in stores.
New this morning, Manchester police announced they arrested a teenager behind a social media post encouraging a riot in the city of Manchester. 19-year-old Daniel Zeron was arrested early this morning and charged with criminal threatening. Police believe he posted the notice on Facebook encouraging people to tip police cars to protest racism. That post was linked to a home in Ashland. The Facebook post has been taken down.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. Let's take a look at that right now. There are 4,685 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,859,323 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 245 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 456 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 925 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And here's a look of a map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 445. And this map of New Hampshire shows you where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 1195. Now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. And in the red are the deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here, current cases. In the purple, total current COVID-19 cases. And in the orange, current hospitalizations. Let's take a look at this chart here, total cases. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. And in the blue, recovered. And let's take a look at this chart here, age group of cases. Female and male of cases is in risk information. Now let's take a look at this chart here. Race/ethnicity of cases, hospitalizations, deaths, and percent of New Hampshire population. And your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Elected leaders of color share their proposal for combating racial injustice. Event begin with 8:46 of silence for George Floyd. U.S. Rep. Anna Presley, Suffolk County District Attorney Rachel Rollins, and other elected leaders of color gathered Tuesday morning on the front steps of the Massachusetts State House to share their thoughts on what action should be taken to combat systematic racism, police brutality, and various forms of injustice. They gathered for the event at 11 a.m. They started by holding a 8:46 of silence for George Floyd, the black man who died on Memorial Day while being pinned under the knee of a white Minneapolis police officer. Tension rises between protesters. Portland police with more protests expected today. 24 people were arrested, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Good morning, Christina. That's right. And you can see the signs and candles that are lit in this growing memorial right to the left of the Portland Police Department along the sidewalk. This all in the wake of the death of George Floyd of Minnesota. And the crowd, it did disperse a few hours ago around 1:30 this morning. There was a huge crowd and peaceful protests similar to previous days, protesting police brutality and calling out racial injustice. And that was until about 10:45 when things took a turn. Police blocking off the roads, and the final square off was actually at Franklin and Middle Street. Police slowly pushed the crowd back. Some water bottles were thrown. We did see that, and officers appeared to disperse some kind of pepper spray. And here's what one of the protesters had to say last night to our crew.
Even if they're not really doing it, they're a part of the issue because they didn't do anything about it. You got to do something about it. If you're a cop and you're not racist, you got to do something about it, or you're a part of the issue. Just because you're not racist doesn't mean you're not a part of the issue.
Now, windows were smashed at 2 downtown businesses, but it's unclear if anything was actually stolen. There were some arrests as well last night. The protesters, they did say that they do plan on being back here later today. Reporting live in Portland, I'm Talia Clark for WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. George Floyd protest updates for New York City. NYC curfew extended 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. through Sunday. New York City will be under an 8 p.m. curfew on Tuesday and each day after that through Sunday. Another night of violence and looting across Manhattan, the Bronx, and elsewhere across the city. The mayor announced the curfew extension on Tuesday morning. Trying to stay alive. 70 protesters sheltered in strangers' home during D.C. curfew. Let's take a listen to that video from WJLA ABC 7.
So we've been following this story all throughout the night and into this morning. Everyone was waiting inside of who used to be a stranger, Rahul Dubey's home. You welcomed in these protesters off of the street last night when police were using different tactics to spread out the crowd, get them off of the streets. We talked via video chat and on the phone. This is the first time talking to you in person. How are you feeling at this point now? All of these protesters are at home. It was peaceful.
It became peaceful, and I'm absolutely grateful that these heroes and these souls that were able to find shelter inside our home safe, and that was the number one thing throughout the entire night. And I feel just a lot of joy and gratitude around the fact that they're texting me and that they made it home, and 70 strangers in your house, and the police outside using force and pepper spray in through the windows, and it's just all mayhem, and it's really kind of hard to kind of put into words at this moment.
It's been a long night, and you said about 70 people inside of your home. I noticed a lot of them were fairly young. They looked like in their 20s, maybe late teens. What made you open your door and say, get inside?
My door was already open. I was standing on my stoop. I had a couple people sitting on the steps. A couple people had asked to charge their phone and use the bathroom. 2 people had asked if they could run out the back because they were pinned in here. It was starting to get pretty evil and pretty dark, and you could feel that there was some bad energy in the air. And literally 15 seconds after I had let them through the back and came out, there was a big bang. There was spray that my eyes started burning, screaming like I've never heard before. And I've described it as a human tsunami. It's the best way I can see, for about a quarter of a block coming down the street, just piling on people, wands and batons just kind of waving and pepper spray going. And there's an image of a police officer running up behind the people that were coming up the steps. I was yelling, get in the house for 10 minutes. And there was just spraying pepper spray into people in their backs and the side of their heads, and people were tripping on the steps. And that's really what all I remember is just kind of pandemonium and mayhem inside for a good hour and a half.
And these people found shelter inside of your home for, 9-10 hours. What was the conversation going on inside?
It was broken up into segments. The first hour and a half was, it was pure chaos. Milk flying everywhere, water, people using my bathtub to splash water in their face, and I didn't know what to do. I don't know how to treat pepper spray, and my eyes were burning. Then it got into what's going on? I can't understand this. And, the room, everyone was spread out in the backyard that's gated, the basement, the main floor, and the third floor. Different conversations going on, some people blaming themselves, which just pained me. What they can do better next time, which was really, really great. And that went on for 5-6 hours. Then we got hungry.
You ordered some pizza.
I did order some pizza. We got covert operation, and, it's just human ingenuity. You call the owner of Dashini's Pizza, thank you. And he makes his way with the delivery person down an alley. And we got some food. Neighbors brought food.
You can see a lot of neighbors out here and a lot of supporters who are waiting for that 6 o'clock curfew to end. When you guys walked out and there were no cops in sight, what was that feeling?
We were afraid, so we walked out the back. We waited that long, 9-10 hours inside the house and stranded and hungry and able to get some sustenance, but it was fear. You could see it. They didn't trust going out the front. And we went out the back, and it was all them. They coordinated their rides. They got these protesters, and now my family.
Now your family, I think that says a lot. What is your final message?
I hope that my 13-year-old son grows up to be just as amazing as they are, and I hope that they continue to fight, and I hope they go out there today peacefully as they did yesterday and not blink, because our country needs them and needs you and everybody more than ever right now.
Rahul, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report there. Raleigh curfew. What does it mean and who is exempt? Let's take a look at that for all of you right now. Wondering what the rules are when it comes to the curfew in Raleigh, North Carolina? Here are answers to some questions you might have according to the city of Raleigh. Where and when does the curfew apply? Everywhere within the city of Raleigh, from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. I drive for Uber/Lyft. Can I operate in Raleigh during curfew? No. Does the curfew apply to government meetings? The curfew does not apply to law enforcement officers, firefighters, and other public employees, including those in the state and local government. Does the curfew apply to emergency workers? No. Are home health workers exempt? Yes. You may travel during curfew hours to perform your home health job. Are employees of veterinary clinics or veterinary hospitals allowed to travel during curfew? Yes. What individuals are experiencing homelessness? Police will encourage individuals experiencing homelessness to go to a shelter. What happens if I have emergency and I need to get to a hospital? You can travel to handle the emergency or call 911. How will bus service be affected? Go Raleigh will provide regular weekday service for those not subjected to the curfew beginning at 8 p.m. How about package delivery? Curfew does not apply to package delivery companies which package goods and deliver them to homes and businesses. My business is not exempt, but I have employees arrive at 3 a.m. to open at 5 a.m. Can employees arrive at 3 a.m. as usual? No, you and your employees must obey the curfew and stay in home or dwelling during the curfew hours from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. And if you want to see that list again, we will share it with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page after this broadcast. Towns declaring state of local emergency. Curfews issued aimed growing protest. Let's take a listen to that video from WPBF 25 News, Florida.
Good evening. I'm Todd McDermott, WPBF 25 News. We're on the air again to bring you the latest on our breaking news regarding protests in and around Palm Beach County, as well as on the Treasure Coast. I want to go live right now to Boca Raton. That is a live scene on Glades Road, just feet away from the on-ramp to 95, where that group is trying to get onto the interstate. Our Anna Espinoza is there. Anna, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you right now. The protest is very loud. They're chanting, what do we want? Justice. As you can see, the police is blocking their entrance here onto I-95, but everyone is standing here. People have been kneeling in front of the police. They continue to say, what was his name? George Floyd. What did he say? I can't breathe. They've walked at least 6 blocks past Butts Road here on Glade Street. And as we were getting off the I-95 exit, you could see all the ISP cars lined up, ready. And as you can see, everyone is here with their signs. Everything has been peaceful as of now.
Anna,
You can hear them chanting all of this in.
Anna, let me ask you, can you
I'm going to
estimate...
take it back to you, Todd.
Anna, if you can hear me, can you estimate the size of that crowd? It's hard to tell because you're right in the middle of it. And is that the only line of law enforcement between this crowd and I-95? It looks like just a lineup of Highway Patrol troopers in riot gear. Is that the only line of law enforcement there?
Yes, this is the only line. As you can see, FHP is making this line, blocking the highway. There's about 150 people here, possibly even 200. I'll have my photo kind of show the crowd off to the left so you can see how many people are here. But yeah, there is only this one line of FHP officers. I'd say there's about 30
All right. I'll tell you what. We're
I'll
going
take
to
it back to you, Todd.
Anna, thank you very much. That's Anna Espinoza live there on Glades Road. Again, Glades Road shut down in that area. This all started as a protest around the town center mall, which closed much earlier this afternoon in anticipation of possible trouble. No trouble at this time. These are peaceful protests. Of course, we're monitoring the situation there and around our viewing area. For now, I'm Todd McDermott live on WPBF 25 News. We will break in if the situation moves.
Okay, and there you go on that video that you saw there. Several towns and cities in Palm Beach County have issued state of emergencies and issued curfews aimed at the growing protests. On Sunday, the city of West Palm Beach declared a state of emergency and put into effect from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if you want to see other list of communities and towns in Florida and around the West Palm Beach area, we will share that list with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page after this broadcast. Beverly Hills, Terrence have extended Tuesday curfews aimed to continue unrest. Several cities across Southern California are operating to extend curfews for residents as the region continues to see protest and looting. Officials in both Beverly Hills and Torrance declared an extension of curfews while it's unclear whether LA County will extend its sweeping curfew for a third day. The curfew does not apply to those traveling to and from work, those seeking emergency medical care, and first responders. The following are issued by each city. If you want to see the rest of the cities of California curfews, we will share that list with you after this broadcast. Stocks lose steam as tech shares slide. Stocks were little change on Tuesday as traders grappled with civil unrest around the country, along with the reopening of the economy from the coronavirus pandemic. Major cities impose curfews to prevent looters and violence. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
A seventh night of chaos across the country. Protesters in New York attacking police overnight, bashing an officer over the head by a brick, sparking a stampede as cops draw their weapons. Marchers took to the streets peacefully early in the day. This powerful moment, the highest-ranking uniformed member of the NYPD kneeling with demonstrators.
And everything that these cops have given their blood for, and the communities that we serve and they all love, can go back together and get those groups out of here from California, from all over this country, who are being paid to take this movement, which is a good movement, and turn it into violence against the men and women who love the communities. Get them out of here, throw them out of your protests, protest peacefully. Why would anyone break into a store in your neighborhood? Places that employ the people in this neighborhood. No reason for it. It has to end. Let New York show the country how this is done.
But the tone quickly changing.
Things are getting wild here at Rockefeller Center here in New York City. Officers, there are clearly different groups that are out here facing off with police.
Storefronts shattered, tempers flaring. and punches thrown, and the late-night curfew doing little to quell the chaos. Looters breaking into the iconic Macy's flagship store, smashing out windows and setting it on fire. It comes as protests to the west took a chaotic turn.
Trooper, you're not the only one who's scared here. You're better than this.
In Seattle, hundreds rushing through barricades in this peaceful protest turned riot. Peaceful protesters caught in the crosshairs as officers fired off pepper spray, tear gas, and flashbangs. And in California, police rounded up dozens of suspects, loading them onto buses after widespread looting in LA. But this morning, peaceful protesters are working to set themselves apart from the violence, worried the destruction raining down on their cities is overshadowing their cause.
The entire movement is not about this. This, I believe, was opportunists looking for trouble.
Upset that my business got broken into, more upset that the things that are going on.
We want to control the narrative of this story. We want to show what we really are.
An official with the Los Angeles Police Department says officers overnight have taken a far more active role in taking on looters than during previous nights.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and thank you for joining us for this afternoon broadcast right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great rest of your afternoon. I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.